everybody, welcome back. I thought I would just give you another quick update. We are still mid-renovation, so I just wanted to walk you through here. We basically have just finished texturing, not super well, I might add, but we can talk about that later. So you can see that we've got a fresh coat of primer and some places have been painted. So it is looking a little bit fresher than the last video that I showed you here. You can also see from this angle that the windowsills have been removed from all the windows. I'm going to have the quartz match the countertops in the kitchen so that everything is kind of continuous and like matches throughout the unit. Here I'm just showing you a close-up of the knockdown texture of the drywall. Now, the progress that we have made in the laundry room includes changing out that valve. Remember there was a red valve in here before, and so now we have changed this out to a quarter turn valve so that it's not failing and we're not leaking water all over the place. I'm still currently deciding on what kind of flooring we'd like to have in this room. It's a little bit challenging just because of that drain that you saw. Moving on, we still have not changed out the recess lights, but here I'm showing you we have made progress. We've picked out the flooring and I will soon show you the stair treads. So those are picked out, purchased, and on site. Other progress that we have made is changing out the baseboard heat. So these are our nice new baseboards. You guys remember how disgusting the old ones were. There is kind of a saga and a story that goes along with these, so I will continue that later. But for now, I'll just say that these look much improved. Again, we still have to work on changing out all these electrical outlets. So they're all just covered in paint and or taped up at the moment. So those will all get replaced. Again, here I'm showing you where we're going to put the new window sills that are made of quartz. And then there is the stair tread. So I will show you in just a minute what that will look like in place on the stairs. But I went with this instead of stair nosing. We have some stair nosing in other properties, and especially with tenants, that just gets destroyed. You have stair nosing popping off, then you're trying to reinstall it and caulk it in place, and it's just an absolute nightmare. So for this unit, we are going with full stair treads. Then I'm showing you here that we still have the old wooden front door, so that will get switched out to a steel front door. Again, here I'm showing you the stair tread in place. So at this property, again, specifically, I got the full stair tread, and then it actually does come with a matching riser. I know there's kind of a trend of having a white riser, but again, I just think with tenants, white risers would probably get quite destroyed and I would have to pay to have them painted. So we're going to go with a wood colored tone that is this exact same color that will match the full stair tread. Here I'm showing you that we've got the electrical in for the pendant light that I talked about previously. And again, I'm still looking for a swamp cooler cover, but again, we're making a little bit of electrical progress. Other big update on the stairs. I remember in the past few videos, you guys basically saw me falling up the stairs. So basically to shore up the stairs, we added another stringer and then just some additional framing that you're not able to see from this camera angle, but the stairs are much more secure now, so that's a huge plus. Now moving into the upstairs bathroom, so you can see all of this insulation has to come out. Looks pretty gross, so we will replace all of this. That is the new fan that's going in to hopefully help prevent any mold in the future. So we're just getting all of this cleared out, scrubbing all of these banisters and joists in here so that everything's nice and clean before we close it all back up again. And then the bathtub is installed. In this room, the utility room, on my to-do list is to have a custom steel pan made for the bottom. So as it sits right now, our contractor has basically just put in a membrane. That's that kind of plastic looking thing that you can see. So essentially, and I'm not sure why they built the building like this back in the 70s, they put the hot water heater in the boiler on the second story. And so literally the day that we were closing on the building, somebody's hot water heater broke or died and was leaking. And when it leaks, because it's on the second story, it basically just dumps water down onto the first floor, basically trying to prevent that situation from ever happening again. So you can see I put in that 3-inch drain right there in the middle of the floor. Now, I wasn't really convinced that this kind of rubber membrane would hold any water. Imagine a 40-gallon hot water heater, right? If it decides to let loose, 40 gallons of water is going to flood everywhere, right? So the drain will help, but I'm not convinced that this membrane, which our GC charged me $800 to install, is the correct solution. So I found a sheet metal company that's actually in the process of building us a custom sheet pan, and it was only $300. So we should have done that to begin with. So lesson learned. And then once that sheet pan is installed, we can put a new hot water heater back in place. Remember, there was a really old one in here, and then reinstall that same boiler. So the boiler is just sitting in the primary bedroom for now until we get the sheet pan and everything ready to go, and the plumber back over here. So in this bedroom, aside from the boiler being in the middle of the room, you probably noticed that there's no trim, there's no doors. We do have the new baseboard heat, so that's good. We also don't have any lighting yet. So this bedroom is going to have a ceiling fan, which has been purchased, has yet to be installed. The thing that I'm trying to show you in this bedroom is kind of how poorly the paint has been applied. So you can see that they painted the ceiling, but it looks really splotchy. It's been kind of a back and forth tumultuous few months with our contractor, and we're basically just trying to make this work until the end of the project. So a lot of this is going to have to be retextured, redone. I'll fill you in a little bit more as we move along, but again, you can see the same thing in here. He was basically just going to leave it, and he told us it was already all painted. It's obviously just primed. You can see the overspray again from the ceiling onto the walls, and it needs to be actually painted. So here is the flooring that we picked out. So I think that will be beautiful, stunning, gorgeous once it's installed. Who knows when that will happen, but they did have to use a lot more self-leveler than they had initially anticipated. So that has been part of the reason that the project has been pushed so much. In addition to, I think, the GC just taking on more than he can chew. So I will give you updates along the way, again, of how things are going. And remember, I had made a previous video about how important it is to have a contract in place so that you have some legal footing to stand on. And I'm so glad that we did do that in this case, especially because things had taken a turn here at about the 10-12 week mark when things were supposed to be wrapping up. Again, no trim, no doors, no lighting, nothing in the closet. It's progress. Is it the progress that we were expecting? No, but lessons learned, and at least we're hopefully headed in the right direction. Again, I'm just showing you here the downstairs bathroom. So again, all those football valves need to be switched out, and then you can see all the drywall patching that needs to still be done. And this is week 10 into the project, and it's supposed to be a 12-week project. So still a ton of work to be done. That fan still needs to be installed, but we're keeping on, and I know that it'll look great when it's all done. It's just a work in progress. So stay tuned again for the next video, and I will update you soon. Bye.